What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody who celebrates. I just ate good.
Yes, sir.
I'm Despo. You
Man.
didn't even get to. I said you got you messed up the thing. I'm Desto. You didn't even say you was Drew. They don't even know you.
Yes, I'm Drew. Welcome to the Double Dribble Podcast. All right. So let's get into these
You want
playoff
you want to
games,
dive
man.
straight in.
So
You want to dive straight in.
let's dive right into it, man.
All right. What series you want to start
Well,
out with?
I mean, we could do a quick little reaction to the game ones that already started for the second
Okay.
round.
Perfect. Yeah.
Um
So we can start actually.
well, I guess actually no, we should probably talk about the end of the second round because I think last time we did a pod it was what Cade was going into game 7, right? Or did
Yeah,
they just win?
we was on the pod during the Philly and Celtics game. So, like as we predicted when we
Yep.
got the news that Jason Tatum was gonna be out, we said Philly was gonna win that game. That game was actually kind of close. Like it was like a 1 point game,
Yeah.
but like just a couple minutes left. But shout out to Tyrese Maxey. He closed out that game. Really,
So yeah. Let's start there.
yeah,
Celtics had a really good regular season. Jaylen Brown had a All NBA level season, and they go out in 7 games, blow a 3-1 lead. Obviously, Tatum goes down, but I know we saw the whole narrative. Jaylen Brown on his Twitch stream talking about all the calls and talking about how everybody's pushing off and how he's getting targeted and the agendas and everything like that. To me, I do think there is some truth to what he's saying, but you can't do that. You can't go after you blow a 3-1 lead. You didn't play particularly well in a lot of these games. Down the stretch, especially. You also flop. You're not like somebody that doesn't flop. So you can't really go out there and just be like blaming the refs in a situation like that. Like Embiid was dominant in like 2 of those games against y'all. Y'all had no matchup for him. You had guys out there that, and my biggest criticism for the Celtics, I was maintaining this throughout the regular season. They were really good in the regular season, but I still had strong doubts about them in the playoffs. And it was because in those past seasons, it wasn't just, and I really don't like how the media is talking about it because the media is talking about it in a way like, oh, it's just Tatum and Brown, and if one of those dudes didn't perform well and they lost, or it's just like, oh, they live by the 3, they die by the 3, and if they don't make their threes, they just lose. Like it's not that simple, but that's how it really just ends up coming down to it when people talk about it, which I don't like. No, like they had a lot of guys that had not been in the playoffs that are not, let's be honest, on the level of a Drew Holiday, on the level of a
Porzingis.
Al Horford, Porzingis, but like especially like somebody like an Al Horford and Drew
Smart.
Holiday, like these dudes
Williams.
were
Well, they wasn't a part of
like
the
not just but these dudes aren't just like experienced guys. These are playoff proven vets that like can win you a game,
Like Holiday,
can help you win
I
a
remember
series,
Holiday,
like with just matchup.
like in the finals, Porzingis came out crazy in game 1. Basically won them game 1 in the finals.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday basically won them game 2. He was going crazy. Like
Yeah, and a lot of these dudes that Boston had on that bench, it was because they were supposed to be in a quote unquote gap year.
yeah,
And so these dudes that were now like they were playing well, like and playing well as in like they were playing decent defense and they were making they were making their open threes. That's really what these dudes were doing. But it was like always like in a playoff setting, do I really count on these dudes as legit knockdown shooters if the pressure's up? Have they shown me something that I could buy into that, especially over the course of a potentially longer series? And yeah, like I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the Shiremans, the Garzas, the Gonzaleses, the Walsh. They had to prove it to me. And to me, usually when guys like when you have that many guys going into the first playoffs, they're going to have letdowns. It's almost like baked in. It's like every single you just go through history. It's one thing if you have one guy that might be in that situation, but you have other guys that are proven. They have so many guys that are in like their first playoff scenario of having to play, key minutes and key moments. And that to me it was always a red flag. It was always a red flag, especially when they didn't have Tatum. Like when they didn't have Tatum, I was honestly expecting them to go out early. I was going to predict that if Tatum didn't come back at all. When Tatum came back and he was looking pretty good, I was like, you know what? I got the Celtics winning this series for sure. And then we'll see about round 2. But I still, I wasn't all the way in on how Tatum was looking. I still didn't think he was Tatum.
He was
fully.
Tatum.
And now we're seeing. Yeah, I called him Tatum. But yeah, man, like I feel like I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you were doing this. Cause I think you were just kind of playing around a little bit. But I feel like a lot of the media. I feel like the media was like, they're not gonna say they're gaslighting, but I almost feel like they were just like they're either lying or they weren't really paying attention closely. Because a lot of other people were saying like, "Oh, Tatum's back," and he's not just back; he's better than he's ever been. Or he's back to he's the same player. He's just back to the same Tatum he was before the injury. I'm like, bro, like, are y'all really watching him closely? This is not the same Tatum that we saw before the injury. Yes, I know his numbers look good. His PRA is fantastic.
Especially the RA.
But if you yeah. But if you looking at like his actual movements and like how he's actually like operating on the court, apart from his passing, which I think his passing has been good, but I think he was the same caliber passer last year before the injury. I just think he was leaning more into it. I don't think it was something that he developed this increased passing, but we saw him able to pass like this in the finals.
Yeah, even in the finals that they lost, he was really good.
Yeah.
But like, okay,
so like,
I think real quick on the Tatum thing. Like, of course, I love Tatum. But I did, and I think this may. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but it may have contributed to his injury in Game 6, which left him out of Game 7. Which I'm low-key glad that they didn't advance, because like it was amazing to see Tatum come back. Even him coming back from this injury, like I don't think he was the consecutive All-NBA caliber player that he has been the previous seasons. But he was still great. He was still playing at a star level, I would say. But he may have like kind of the way he was kind of playing, it may have been a little overcompensation, which led to the injury on the other leg. Maybe I don't know. But that just seems like when somebody has like a catastrophic injury, they tend to overcompensate, and then it's common that they would end up with a injury on like the opposite side. Like if you hurt your right leg, then you overcompensate. Now you'll have swelling, or you'll have some injury on your left leg. Instead of actually trusting that everything went well. And Tatum had moments when he was looking really good. Like I remember Game 1 versus the Sixers, he was going crazy. He was splitting, after the pick and roll, driving, dunking. He had a really good game. What was that, Game 4?
3. Game 3.
Game 3 and Game 4, I want to say then.
Well, yeah. Game 3, I remember we were at the Rockets-Lakers game.
Oh,
I pulled out the game and I was watching it, and he hit that deep.
Yeah. But Game 4, he had like 30. Like he wasn't missing from 3. That's when they went up 3-1.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then he started Game 6 I think he started Game 6. He started off like hot, like in the first quarter. But they ultimately, like, Philly blew that game open, and then they ended up winning, and that's when Tatum sustained the injury. I think Brown was leading in scoring throughout the series when they was playing, but I feel like Tatum was their best player in this series. I feel like his defense didn't take a drop off since the injury. His defense looked great. Like he was still moving with guys. He was guarding Tyrese Maxey at different points. Tyrese Maxey, one of the fastest players in the league, and Tatum was right there, sticking him. But his overall his driving wasn't as he didn't have a what's the word I'm looking for, like the explosiveness, but he wasn't driving as much, and that was because of that. Like he still shot a lot of threes, but he was gonna do that anyway. That's Tatum. But yeah, he leaned on his playmaking a lot, and instead of attacking the rim as much as he did in the past. And maybe that's just and they said like you'll start to see it like the player come back a year after the year that they come back, if that makes sense. So like Tatum came back this
Yeah,
season,
yeah.
like by next season sometime he'll really be back to who he is. But I mean, it's still amazing recovery. Like the player, even if he comes back as this player, that's still a awesome recovery from Achilles injury. But um, I want to speak on Philly. I mean, like I picked Boston in 6 before the series started. But it was because I didn't know about the health of Embiid. I agree with you on the whole take about the Celtics role guys. Like the only ones they could really trust, um, of course, other than Brown and Tatum, was let me say Pritchard, White, and White wasn't having a great series at all. He had like a high amount of points in Game 7, but he still had to jack up a bunch of shots. So
Mm-hmm.
White wasn't having a great series. Pritchard had some good moments. Kada, who I like, but he's new to this role, being a starter now. Um, Cornette, who I don't know, it's weird. He didn't even start Game 7, but he still played some big minutes. He hit some big three. No, not Cornette. I'm sorry. What's the other guy?
Garza,
Hauser.
Garza, right? Oh, Hauser, Spencer.
Sam Hauser. Yeah, Sam Hauser. Who been there for a couple years now, but Hauser kind of forced to pick up the slack now after they lose Porzingis, they lose Horford, they lose Drew Holiday. Um, so yeah, I mean, this just and honestly, I do want to give Boston some of that credit because some of the players like when Derek White first came there from San Antonio, like he wasn't as the name that he is now. And of course, he was younger, he had to develop, but he developed in Boston. Pritchard developed in Boston. Um, Kada, you can see he's developing. Sam Hauser, who was kind of like riding the bench, but he ended up developing into a reliable role player, a good shooter. So I feel like Boston, they could continue to develop whoever these guys are, Shireman, whatever. But yeah, it wasn't their time. Now, 'cause those players obviously wasn't ready, and Philly with the talent that they have, Maxi, PG, and B, they took advantage, and they on to the second round.
Yeah. Um, yeah, for me, like it was. I had Boston in 5, but I wasn't sure if Embiid was going to play at all. That was going to always be was going to throw a wrench in everything potentially.
Mhm.
And even though like he came back, and this is going to lead into the second round. I feel like people have been acting like he's just back. He's Embiid. Like obviously Embiid is back, and you get a 60% Embiid. That's still great. That's still better than whatever they had, and better than anything that Boston has, because they don't really have anybody to match up with even a 60% Embiid. But I really think that he is still not anywhere close to the Embiid that we've known.
For
And
sure,
and so
for sure.
like
He's
going
shooting
into this,
a lot of jump. Like he relying so much on his jump shot
yeah,
and flopping, like
yeah,
more than
yeah,
normal.
yeah, and even like he was killing them in the paint too, like at the rim. But it was like really that he was just so much physically stronger than anybody that Boston had. Like anybody
Yeah,
Boston had. Boston, like that was always going to be. Even if Boston advanced, I was always going to be looking at them in the interior. Like I think they could be exploited, and I think that's going to be a potentially something that could be what ends up being their downfall. But
this whole Vucevic couldn't get no minutes because we talked about that in the
hey,
previous
hey,
destroying
Missoula.
Vucevic.
Missoula watched those previous Embiid matchups with Vucevic. He was like, "Nah, we gonna leave you on the bench.
He
we gonna leave you on
started.
the bench."
He started. Who did he start?
Garza,
Martinez, Garza. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
he
He didn't even
started.
start Ada.
Yeah, and like he was supposed to be one of their big acquisitions. I mean, obviously it wasn't for the defense, but he just never
Yeah,
was really able to get
yeah,
much of a fitting, or he never really got into the line because he got injured right when he got there, and so
yeah.
they never
Yeah,
got
he
to really
played
develop.
like I think he got injured the game right before Tatum came back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they never got really to build any chemistry with him, any consistency, and so yeah. It could have maybe helped us like as far as stretching them out a little bit, but it is what it is. They
Crazy. That's crazy.
I actually was not even trying to do that. But
hey, hold on real quick. Just real quick. I want to tell y'all what Andrew said when we was at the Rockets game. So Tari Eason was guarding LeBron, and then Tari Eason had his hand like stuck out, and then LeBron had like did the little shot and drew a foul. He drew a foul on Tari Eason, and then Andrew was mad. So then they ended up. I think LeBron went to the free throw line or whatever. So then the next possession down, Amen Thompson was guarding LeBron. And then Andrew, Amen Thompson was doing the same thing. And Andrew was like, move that hand, Amen, move that hand.
Man. And what's crazy is I was 100% not even obviously wasn't thinking like that. But the reason why like I was saying
I'm locked into the game, and then
I'm because as a Harden fan, like because I'm a big Harden fan. As a Harden fan, I'm so used to seeing defenders put their hand on Harden. I know I'm like, oh, he got him.
Yeah,
he gonna put his hand on him. He about to get him. I could see it come before it happens. I'm not even gonna say what I can see it coming before, but then so like when I saw LeBron do it, I'm like, LeBron been in the league long enough. LeBron's done this. He's done the tactic too.
Yeah.
And so like when he put it, I'm like, y'all, what are y'all doing, man? Y'all can do this stuff with other players in the Lakers. Like you could do it maybe with a Rui, or like maybe, but you can't do it with LeBron. You can't do that with Austin Reeves
and Marcus Smart.
These dudes. Yeah, and Marcus Smart, he's just a flopper, so he knows all the flopping tactics, the offensive ones, the defensive ones. Yeah. He done had it done to him. So yeah. So like it was just dumb, like very very dumb to see them do that, and they got that wasn't the first time they got that done on them in that series, but yeah, that hand.
And indeed they did. Lakers in 6, baby. Nah, but what was the other game 7? Detroit and
Orlando,
the Tobias Harris game. Tobias Harris had the best game of the season. He actually closed that series kind of nicely though. I think he finished with 4 straight 20+ point games.
Yeah, I think he might have had 2 30-1s in there, right? Yeah.
Maybe so. They said that 30. He had 30 in game 7. That was his highest. His highest mark of the season. But I mean, I think Detroit, they couldn't have played a better game. Honestly, I mean, like K was amazing. Of course, he had 32, 12 assists. Tobias Harris was really good. He had his best game. But who mostly impressed me, of course, Ausar Thompson was great defensively. Jalen Duren finally showed up in this series because he was looking like a bum versus Wendell Carter, because he was looking like, because he's probably gonna be an All NBA player this year, based off how he played in the regular season and the Pistons' overall success. But throughout this playoff series, he was getting outplayed by Wendell Carter, who wasn't playing that great himself. So it just shows you how Jalen Duren. But in that game 7, it all came together, like the scoring, the rebounding, the defense, shot blocking, everything.
The shooting. I mean, the overall shooting from the team. If the Pistons shoot like that, they're gonna beat the Cavs.
They're gonna do more than beat the Cavs if they shoot like that. But
no, they're gonna be.
Well, we're gonna get to that series. We're gonna get to that series.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that series. My pick may surprise you, Andrew.
Oh, no. You can hold that jinx. You can hold that jinx.
I didn't even say it.
Look at him.
Let's just say. Remember, you laughed at me when I told you the Cavs and Raptors was going to 7. You laughed at me.
Yeah, said, I mean, it took a demonic satanic ritual on the rim for that for the
Raptors and the Raptors best scorer to get hurt, but
Oh, We can go back and we can touch on Brandon Ingram exposing himself as a complete fraud in these playoffs. Because I mean, we like for real though.
So you think the Cavs would have a better chance if Ingram played?
Bro, the Cavs were boosted by Brandon Ingram playing.
The series was like 2-2 with Brandon Ingram playing.
Brandon Ingram got hurt in Game 4. They finished that game after he left.
He played in Game 5.
Yeah, but they won Game 4. They won Game 4 after he had like went out, and like they closed that game without him. But the first 2 games, even those games that they won with Brandon Ingram, like he was hurting them. He was hurting them, a lot of them.
But I would like, you would think, unless you're DeMar DeRozan, that
he was looking very DeMar DeRozan. He was looking probably honestly, he might have had a worse series than DeMar DeRozan ever had. He might have had a worse series.
If you include the 1-point game that he had when he got hurt, like maybe. But DeRozan got some major stinkers. Like DeRozan got some major.
Yeah, but like for his first series. I mean, obviously he didn't play the whole series. He played 4 games or 3.5 or whatever. But like the first
he played in Game 5 though. I'm not tripping. I'm pretty sure he played a little bit in Game 5.
Ingram didn't play in Game 5.
Did he play?
Did he play? Did he play Game 5?
I'm pretty sure he played in Game 5.
Oh no! I think he left Game 5.
Yeah. He left Game 5.
One of those games he left. Yeah, so that's the one that he left. Like, did he leave at like the very beginning of the game? Because I know he went.
Yeah, he had 1 point.
Ingram, but yeah, to me,
especially like in a game like Game 7 when Scotty Barnes was in foul trouble and they needed some type of offensive punch, like
no, the guy.
I don't take anything away from the Cavs. I'm not saying Brandon Ingram is some world beater.
No.
But
no, I'll give it to the Raptors. I'm gonna stand by this. I don't think that they missed Brandon Ingram. I think they missed Emmanuel quickly. I think Ingram
quickly.
Yes. Ingram is
about quickly.
Ingram was the one that was, to me, they were the Cavs were dominating or winning the minutes every time he was on the court. Clearly, like he was a clear negative the whole series. He was a clear negative, and it wasn't just like because sometimes guys may not be shooting well, but they'll still be a positive on the court because they doing other things. No. Brandon Ingram, if he's not shooting, if he wasn't shooting well, he wasn't giving you anything else. And like people don't look at him as a terrible defender, but he is a bad defender for this matchup because of how much the Cavs, attack people and try and pick on mismatches and do a lot of ball screen actions where they're trying, pick out who they really want. This is another thing. The MVP of the series in order is Scotty Barnes for the Raptors, number 1. Then number 2, honestly, this gonna sound wild, but it's Darko Rajakovic.
Darko Rajakovic.
Bro, because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen that exact strategy employed against a Harden team. The way that they did, not just the way that they did it, because I've seen people try to do something similar, but they had the athletes to do it. They had the personnel to do it so well, better than any team I've actually seen them come against. But I'm surprised to say that. Like, it's the only other team that probably like was close to this was the Warriors, but the Warriors had Steph Curry out there, and so like in the past, like looking at teams that have tried to employ this strategy, this one was actually, personnel wise, it was actually a really, really great strategy. So people are looking at it like I'm gonna go back to it again. The Cavs went up 2-0 in that series because they were getting everything they wanted. They were getting isolations with Harden and Donovan Mitchell, one-on-one, just being able to beat their man, get downhill, or get the defense in rotation. They were able to take advantage of Jakob Poeltl in the pick and roll. He just wasn't able to stay with either one of them, or get back, recover to the big, stop the lobs, stop the pocket passes, and they were able to kick out the shooters. They were getting everything right. The Raptors literally did not stop them in any single facet the first 2 games, right? Decisive victories for the Cavs. Game 3, we're going to cut the minutes significantly of Jakob Poeltl. We're going to play CMB, Colin Murray Boyles, majority of the minutes of the 5. And we're going to basically switch everything and go small ball the rest of the series. We'll still play Jakob Poeltl every once in a while, but he's going to be limited minutes. Like he was playing like 10, 15 minutes the rest of the series, right? Some I think one of those games he played like even less than that. And that was a great strategy because it allowed them to take away multiple things and make it very, very difficult. Really put the onus on not just Harden and Donovan Mitchell to, pick and choose when they're going to attack, but also make it very hard for them to get these passes off. And that became something that we saw was a big issue for Donovan Mitchell. Because as good as Donovan Mitchell is, it was hard to struggle with it too. Like he had a lot of turnovers. Harden to me played very well in that first round series, minus the turnovers. The turnovers were ridiculous. He had average 6 turnovers a game in the series, right? His efficiency, elite. He was 62% of true shooting, 40-something% from 3. He was shooting really well.
Throws, but
yeah. Forget the free throws. His efficiency without the free throws was great. You see his bro, go look at his shooting percentages. What he averaged? He was 46.
Dev, man. Always supporting us, man. Shout out to my boy Dev.
Oh snap! What up, Dev?
Dev, and still in here capping for James Harden.
Nope, I'm spitting facts. No, Harden was the best player for the Cavs in that series. It was Harden, then it was Mobley. Mitchell was 3rd in that series. Yes,
I say Mobley, then Harden. I would say Mobley, but I mean Harden was good, but there was some games.
Game 3, he was bad. Game 3 and 4. 3 and 4 to me, he was bad. He was bad in those first 2 games in Toronto. He was bad. I thought he was good or great outside of that. I thought he was great in 1 and 2. Thought he was really good in game 5.
In game 7.
Game 7,
he made 3 shots and had 18 points.
Hey.
So, like I said, it was carried by the free throws.
No.
The true shooter was carried by the free throws.
No. Prior to that game, he was still shooting amazing. Go look at that. Go look at it. Look at his averages for the series. Go look at his averages for the series. All right. Stop playing with me.
I'm going to go game by game because I remember this whole hyper efficient. I mean, if we eliminate the game 6, 5 for 14, but 5 for 5 from the line. That's less than 40% shooting from the field. So there's 2 games. That's not even the games that you mentioned. Look, you looking at the stats.
No. At every point in the series, he was over 60% true shooting at every single point in the series.
No, I'm not saying you're not right about the true shooting. I'm saying
his 3-point shooting for the series was what?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at each game by game. But no, all I'm saying is getting to the line, great. That's great now, but
yeah, even if you go on even if you don't just throw out the true shooting and you just go regular field goal percentage and 3-point percentage and free throw percentage, he was very efficient.
All right. I'm not gonna get into efficiency battle with you, but I think Harden did have a good series, and a lot of the lineups he ran, they carried. They had better offensive outputs than the ones Mitchell ran, because we talked about that before, how they staggered him, and Harden with Dean Wade, and he was out there with Jared Allen a lot. They contributed heavy to the success of the Cavs offense. So shout out to James. I would say Mobley, just for the 2-way impact of the series.
I think Mobley was their best player in games 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. He was the best player.
That game, one? No, that was Donovan Mitchell. That was Donovan Mitchell.
It was Mitchell or Harden. You could either one. Game 1 and 2. It was game 1 and 2. It was clearly Donovan Mitchell and James Harden as the two best players those first two games because they were just dominant.
Game 1, yeah, they were elite.
And 2 as well. Like now Mobley.
Well, they both were. They all three of them was good. In game 1 and 2. Honestly.
Like here's a funny thing. Like the first two games, the three best players in the series was literally Mitchell, Harden, and Mobley. No, in the series for the first 3 games. Like because Barnes played really well in the series, but the first 2 games he was not close to the best player or the second best player or even the third best player. It was when the series. It was honestly after the coach made that decision that flipped the complexion of the series.
Game 7. Jay Money said Game 7. Game 7, the best player was Jared Allen.
Oh, Jared Allen easily.
Jared Allen.
He was the best player on both teams. Yeah. This dude had like
Scotty was having a good game, but he kept fouling. He was fouling.
Yeah, and he had and honestly, it was a lot of dumb fouls by him because it wasn't actually bad calls so much. It was him making just undisciplined stuff. Yeah, like there was
he was doing the whole move your hand. James Harden was. Yeah. He was guarding James Harden.
But I think
move that hand,
I think Jared Allen had 15 and 10 in the third quarter. It was crazy.
He was stealing the ball. And you know what else he was doing?
Bro,
he was talking trash. Jared Allen was,
bro, I ain't never in my life. There's 2 things I'm not used to seeing Jared Allen do. He got I've seen him do it a few times this year, so I won't say he's never done it, but he's locked in when he's getting pick sixes, basically. He ripping people and he taking it all the way and yamming it on the other court, taking off from the free throw line.
Did you see in one of the games earlier this year? He was talking about I tried to do the LeBron. He tried to do the LeBron cockback dunk, and then they showed the video. They was like, hell no, he looked like LeBron.
Yeah, so he impressed me. I think that obviously going into this series, a huge focal point is going to be the quote unquote magic physicality versus the soft and weak Cavaliers. They're just gonna crumble to the tough, rough and tumble, strong, big.
What did Jason Kemp say? He said, they have the physical advantage.
Yeah, to me, he that dude goes a little bit too much into the. Sometimes I do agree. There are certain times where that's a very valid thing, but I feel like he overplays it sometimes a little bit. Where it's not always going to be to the point where these dudes are just going to be so physical they're not even be able to play basketball. They ain't. He's like they may not. They're going to be struggling to even get into their actions across the half court because they're going to be getting pressured so much, and the physicality is going to be.
What was that series? It was some years ago. Jared Allen said the lights was too bright, and they got absolutely punked. Was that Mitchell Robinson? Was just
Knicks. It was a Knicks series.
Yeah, Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson was Mitchell Robinson was killing him on the offensive glass, and
he do that to everybody, but he was man. And then Jared Allen said, "I guess the lights was too bright."
Yeah, and the crazy thing is he hasn't been able to live that down since then. I mean, now he's had a good start to kind of quieting that down after the first round. We'll see going forward, but I think he actually wasn't even being fully serious when he said that. I think he was actually trying to because now I never actually had watched the clip, but I actually ended up watching the clip. I think he actually was being kind of he was at probably a bad time to say it, but he's kind of trying to be funny. He was saying it in in jest, kind of saying it. But people took that call and were the lights were too bright. Yeah, but which and yeah, he did get out physicaled, as in he's a really long dude, but he's not the most physically strong up top, obviously. And same thing with Mobley, but a lot of them is just if they're able to just win the position battle, basically do your work early. They're able to do their work early, then I feel like it's all about them being locked into me. If they're gonna kill that narrative, because obviously there's going to be some guys that if you're in a certain situation where like they get the inside position, you cooked, or if like they're right at the rim, they're right at the rim and they get the ball and you let them get the ball right at the rim, you're probably going to be cooked. But like I think they're really good defenders, both of them. I say they're great defenders that are capable of, and they've shown it against bigger guys, of being able to win those matches by beating them early and being in a position to use their length to their advantage, right? They're really like, what I like about them is they're both really smart defenders, right? And so like they're not just like
like just before you as you go, we're gonna go into the Detroit series, but you can continue. You can continue.
Yeah. So let's get into the Detroit series, since like they just came back, won Game 7, and they're in that
I'm gonna go first. You kind of texted me your pick and your analysis.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go first. I'm really excited for this matchup. That game starts in like about an hour. So I'm really excited for that matchup. Because one, the Pistons, they it's still a young squad, but they had the best record in the East. Have like a top, what you want to say, like 3 defense this year. Defense really good. And I think that's gonna have to carry them throughout this series. They do have some weak points kind of defensively that could be attacked, especially by Harden, who like the mismatch hunt. Same with Donovan Mitchell. So like Duncan Robinson, maybe like Dennis Jenkins, an undersized kind of defender. Even like Jalen Duren, who's a good defender, but not so much like out in space. And that's what the Cavs can attack them severely. For Detroit, I think the key for them to win this series is, like you spoke about a little earlier, they are the more physical team. They're the better defensive team, and they have to stick to their principles defensively. So like when those mismatch hunts try to happen, that you got to have like certain rules. Like when it's Cade and Asar Thompson and Tobias Harris, maybe like on the court, that's where you can probably switch. Those ball screens, switch those actions, whatever. If it's Jalen Duren involved in those ball screens, or Isaiah Stewart, you gotta hedge or be physical about getting over those ball screens or getting underneath if they may be, because you don't want to switch and you're gonna play into the Cavs' hands. And I think like JB Bickerstaff, like when I was watching the Orlando series, granted it's not Harden or Mitchell that they're playing against, but Paolo, Desmond Bain, whoever, even Franz when he was playing, they weren't getting those switches a lot. Now they're not as good as Harden and D-Mitch. I say that again as far as forcing the switches, but Detroit was very disciplined on who they allowed to switch on those screens, because the Cavs, they got some shooters who can knock shots down if you get switches. Now you got to help. So Detroit, they got to stick to their good defensive discipline, and I think that'll help carry them through the series. And it's gonna be a struggle for them offensively, because they struggle with Orlando, who's a really good defensive team, but they don't have the bigs like the Cavs do. And so they got to find ways to get some shot making. Tobias Harris, you're gonna have to continue to step up. Caris LeVert gonna have to play. He gonna have to. I don't know, because Caris LeVert some days wake up like Michael Jordan. Some days he'll wake up like Kwame Brown. So you never know what you're gonna give him Caris LeVert. He gonna have to play this series because of his potential offensive threat, and he can be switchable defensively. And Cade, Cade gonna have to he gonna have to be tough, because it's gonna be like Mobley gonna be there on every drive, every mid range. So he gonna have to have his jump shot going. He's gonna be dealing with some physical defenders, Dean Wade, Jalen Tyson. So Cade gonna have his work cut out for him again. For the Cavs, I think they're gonna have to. I think Donovan Mitchell, I want to see you like show up like this series. That's who I need to see. I need Donovan Mitchell to be the best player in this series, because I would say Cade is the best player in this series. Now, Donovan Mitchell, it depends because if I saw another analyst say they'll go Asar Thompson because they think Donovan is better than Donovan, but what the threats just trying to pose as a potential scorer and playmaker, and Asar Thompson can neutralize that. If that's the case, whoever that other defender is, Donovan Mitchell, you need to abuse him. Like I don't care who it is, because Detroit has some good defenders. If it's Cade, if it's Devontae Green, if it's Ron Holland, if it's whoever, Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, whoever. You need to go out there. You need to be the Donovan Mitchell that who was once labeled as like a playoff riser. The Donovan Mitchell that was in the bubble. Like that's what you need to do. Because in the first round, you left a lot to be desired. And,
I'm gonna keep it a bug. If Donovan Mitchell if he's not the best player, or at least doesn't outplay Cade in this series from a scoring perspective, that's an indictment on him. That's an indictment on him.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the, maybe I'm gonna be wrong. Maybe the JB Bickerstaff is gonna make the decision. We're gonna put Asar Thompson on Donovan Mitchell to start the series and for the bulk of the series. If he's gonna do that, I think that's gonna be a mistake. I don't think he's gonna do that. But I will gladly welcome him doing that. Yeah, but I think he might do it. I think if Donovan Mitchell's like goes off crazy and they lose and like the first two games they go down 0-2, maybe something crazy like that. But like I still think that you want to put Asar on Harden because Harden's able to, he's one of the best pick and roll ball handlers of all time. Right? Probably top 5 pick and roll ball handler. Asar's great at navigating screens. Anybody else on that team, Harden is going to have a much easier time getting them in ball screen action and getting to whatever he wants, right? And getting the bigs involved. And as far as even Cade, bro, yeah. Like they're gonna be able to screen off Cade. They're gonna be able to be effectively screen off anybody except for Asar, honestly. And so
Big Ron Holland.
And then if that's the problem, then you're gonna have Harden getting into the lane, and then you're gonna have Duren making decisions and drop. To me, that you have to be able to take something away, and I feel if you can try and take that away, you could take away, potentially you could take away a lot. If you could stymie Harden, you could stymie, the initiator for the offense. Maybe Asar's great at forcing turnovers. Maybe Asar could force some turnovers on Harden and get out and run, because y'all are gonna need to get out and run. The Pistons' key to winning this series is they got to win the possession battle. Because if they don't win, if the possession battle is close, like if it's like they won it by a couple or they lost it by a couple, I feel like the Cavs are gonna win the series. Mm-hmm. If they definitively win the possession battle, that's one of their paths to winning the series right there. So like that's, if you're gonna be able to do that, I feel like you want to have Asar on Harden. Now the question is who's gonna guard Donovan Mitchell for most of this series? Because if you go in the starting lineup, unless they do a quick change up to start this series, we know they're going to start who? Cade at the 1, right? Then they're going to have Duncan Robinson. They're going to have Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren, right? So this is where I keep on leaning on. As crazy as it might sound to some people who just look at, they just look at the defensive rankings. They're like, Detroit's number 1. The Raptors were number 5. Detroit is clearly the way better defense. If they struggle with the Raptors defense, they're going to struggle even more with the Pistons defense. On paper, that's how you could look at it. But if you really watch the matchups, I do agree that statistically the Pistons defense was better. But the Raptors personnel and the switch they made in Game 3 causes more problems defensively for the Cavs than anything I've seen the Pistons do so far this season. Now, we'll see, because we're talking about a specific matchup. They're not playing any random team. They're playing specifically this Cavs team. So how do they match up defensively with this Cavs team? To me, Asar can do everything that those Raptors guys were doing. Barnes, CMB, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed. All those dudes are good defenders. Good to elite defenders. The weakest defender they had out there was RJ Barrett, and RJ Barrett's not terrible. RJ Barrett's decent, right? He's decent. All those guys are super athletic, physical, fast to the ball, right? That right there, and they were switching everything. That right there is a huge problem for a Harden and Mitchell team, especially with that length. Now, when you compare them with the Pistons have guys that, with all due respect, I do think Ausar Thompson is a top 5 defender in the league. I think that Cade is a solid defender. After that, there's question marks in certain areas. Duncan Robinson, not a good defender, bad defender, but they can hide him in certain ways. They've tried to, but it's going to be put to the test in this series. How much you going to hide that man is going to get put to the test. Because I know, I guarantee you, we going to see it. I'm going to be looking for him myself. I'm just going to be watching Duncan Robinson. I'm not even watching the game. I'm watching Duncan Robinson. When he's on the court, I'm looking for him because I want to see if they can.
You're not going to watch the ball. You're going to watch Duncan Robinson. I want to go see it. He's going to end up guarding the person with the ball anyway.
Yeah. So that's one thing. They're going to do their best to try and hide him or cover for him, but that could get the defense in rotation. We'll see how much he actually stays in the series. If he's hitting his threes at a high level, he's going to be out there. But if he's not hitting at a consistent enough level and he's not able to really maintain, and that's going to be a problem potentially. Tobias Harris, not a bad defender. Don't get me wrong. But Tobias Harris is not those guys. He is a type of dude that Harden's going to still put in action. He's still going to try and go at him and put him in ball screen actions. Same thing with Donovan Mitchell. They're still going to go at him because they are much faster with the ball and can beat him off the dribble. They absolutely can. So that's another dude that if we can, we're going to get him out there. Have him guard us. Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren is a very good rim protector, great rebounder, great offensive rebounder. Defensively, he has issues guarding up on the perimeter in space, but also he has issues guarding ball screen actions. I looked at all the Cavs Pistons.
Yeah, he got them like I want to say like heavy feet, or slow feet. Like yes, that's what he got. Slow feet.
That is the biggest thing because I watched every game of the Cavs Raptors series.
He guard like ball screens. It's like he got ankle weights on.
Yeah, so when I was looking at them, I was like, "What is like? Why do I feel like the rap? Even though statistically they're not technically as good, why do I feel like they're doing such a better job beyond like the scheme change?" And it's because the guys for the Raptors, they're more athletic. Now, this is no shots on the Pistons, but they are more athletic defenders. Like not just they're faster and they're long and fast. When I look at the Pistons, I watched all the games with the Cavs and Pistons. The Cavs look like the faster team offensively and defensively. That's what my eyes are telling me. They're the faster team. When I looked at them play the Raptors were the faster offense and the faster defense, right? And
that's a quick point. Like a lot of times, like the regular season, you have like strong rim protection. With you got Jalen Duren, you got Isaiah Stewart, Ausar Thompson, who's a rim protector. Cade block shots. Like a lot of them, like they rim protect at a high level. And sometimes they contain the ball. You're gonna end up with a higher defense overall because that's the best thing. The calling card of a great defense is rim protection. That's why the Spurs they have the greatest rim protector of all time. I'm just playing,
which is absolutely which is absolutely why. And you're right. That's a big part of why they rank higher than the Raptors defensively because they have better rim protection than the Raptors. Yeah, right.
But when you're talking about matchups, styles make fights, and you a boxing guy. So and I definitely see your point about the overall versatility. Look at this guy.
we wearing this whole playoffs. We channeling Bud Crawford all playoffs.
Shout out to Bud, man. Shout out to Bud.
Yeah. So
he told bro he was telling his soul.
Yeah, but to me, like to me that's where I look at the matchups and I'm like, so I think the Cavs are the faster team and getting into their actions and on both ends. That to me is an X factor that people are all focused on physicality because yes, the Pistons are bigger, more physical. That they're up top. Stronger guys, upper body dudes like Duren, like this dude, like he Hercules or something.
Yeah.
But like as far as like, yeah, but as far as like moving his feet, I don't think he's as good as the guys they just have to deal with. And so that's where I look at like there's a lot of things they could exploit defensively for this elite defense. And then on the other side, I think that this is the story that's not being talked about to the media because everyone's looking at it like this: the Cavs' elite offense, amazing, great offense versus the top tier defense of the Pistons. It's going to be offense versus great defense, and that's going to be the battle. I don't think it's that simple. I think it's actually this is where I'm leading Cavs. I'm gonna give my prediction right now. I have Cavs in 6, and the reason why is because I think that the thing that's being underestimated heavily is the Cavs defense in this series. Because everybody's just talking about their offense because their defensive ranking, quote unquote, wasn't great in the regular season. But there's a lot of things that go into that. And that's that they had 40 plus starting lineups in the regular season. They had a lot of games where they did not have Mobley and Allen. A lot of games where they did not have their best perimeter defenders in Dean Wade and Jalen Tyson. And now they have all of them. And they didn't have all of them. This is the crazy thing. They didn't have all of those guys all together until game 1 of the playoffs. That is crazy. And that's a big part of what's being underestimated. And if you watch their matchups, although I don't think Cade is going to do what he did in the regular season, because if Cade does, they're getting swept. But I don't see him doing that. But I don't see him doing what he did unless he is really that A tier 1 superstar. I don't know if he's gonna do what he did in that Magic series in this series, because in the regular season he averaged 18.5 points on like 35% shooting from the field, and he struggled. It wasn't just that like Dean Wade, because Dean Wade is their best perimeter defender. I would say Jalen Tyson is a good one, but I say Dean Wade is their best. Dean Wade is really, this is what I like about Dean Wade as far as his defense goes. He don't get a lot of stocks and blocks, but he stays in front of guys. He's hard to beat off the dribble, and he's disciplined. He usually doesn't make stupid bad fouls or constantly jump at stupid things. Like he's like one thing I hate is when guys are good defenders, but they fall for pump fakes and jump it and foul dudes on threes and foul dudes on jump shots. He's like, really good at
kind of like Klay Thompson before in his heyday when he was a defender, because he didn't get a lot of stocks, but he was just so disciplined.
Yeah.
He was freaking guarding Kyrie. Like Kyrie was cooking him, but he was still good.
Yeah. So like he's really good to me at moving his feet, staying in front, getting the contest up, not fouling, right? And in those matchups I watched, Cade did not just have an easy time getting him off the dribble. He usually was able to stay in front of Cade, and when Cade he would funnel him into Jared Allen. He'd funnel him into Evan Mobley, and then Cade would have a tough time finishing through those long, lengthy bigs. And the reason what also plays into their favor is they had all those regular season matchups, and this is a huge X factor in this series as well. They played Evan Mobley off of Ausar Thompson. Evan Mobley's assignment was Ausar Thompson. What'd he do? Leave that man on the perimeter, and he went and hanged out around the paint as a roamer. Right? He was roaming, and he was helping on whoever he wanted to help. And if Ausar would get it, then he would try and switch back and cut off the driving lane for Ausar. Right? I remember like there was a play like Ausar did actually get a drive, and like he missed it, but he got a putback rebound and finish it over Mobley. But it wasn't easy, right? And like it was a lot of like it was putting the Pistons in the predicament where they got to make a decision, where they're starting to feel like, oh, what do we do about this situation with Ausar? Like, do we we got to leave him out there because he's a great defender? But it's like, how do we address the issue of his offensive inefficiencies or deficiencies? Because we need him to be able to stay on the court, but they're really hurting our offense by having Evan Mobley just sit around the paint, help out on Cade drives. Because every time Cade try to get downhill, you have Evan Mobley rotating over. How do we address that? I saw the Magic. The Magic were having Jalen Suggs. Excuse me. They had Jalen Suggs guarding Ausar Thompson.
Yeah.
And Jalen Suggs was helping off of him. But here's the thing. And I thought it was dumb, by the way. But here's the thing. You shouldn't have your perimeter defender or your guard guarding helping off of Ausar Thompson. It should be a big man or it should be a big wing. And because And this is the problem. Like the Pistons figured it out and they started taking advantage of it. They started getting us on a lot of back cuts and a lot of like, drop offs to the rim because, Jalen Suggs is not a rim protector.
Yeah.
But
like
Evan
Jalen
Mobley,
Duren was he was playing a lot in that short roll. He's throwing lobs to Asar Thompson.
Yep. And so in this series, you have an Evan Mobley doing what Suggs was doing, but he's very capable and very long of getting back and rotating. Yeah. And so now it's going to put you in a conundrum of what do we do to address the situation? And I don't know what their answer is there. And it's going to be, is it Asar's going to have to make shots? Is he going to just have to I want to see how they're going to address that. And so that's one thing. I think that K is going to have a much tougher series being able to just get easy looks. And the onus is going to be on, Jalen Duren. How much can you dominate your matches? Your matchups? How much can you body Jared Allen and body Evan Mobley? Because you do have the physical advantages. And in the regular season, yes, you did have offensively. He had a very good regular season against them. Now, this is what's also quiet as kept. Defensively, he did not do good against them. Like on the other side, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley had no issue scoring on him. The problem is as they couldn't stop him either. But it was neither one of them was stopping anything, right? So if it's like that, I still think that leans Cavs. But if he's able to he has to imprint his will on offense. He has to be a 20 and 10 or more kind of guy to me, for the Pistons to have this series, or the Pistons to have a chance at really, coming out of this series on top without it, relying on outlier shooting performances from three. So that's a big thing that has to happen. I think for Cade, this is also another thing I'm gonna watch for Cade. I think Cade, that pulled up three ball, he got it cooking. He got it rolling.
Yeah.
As that series continued, he was cooking from three. If that pull up tray ball is cooking, all right, then now Cade can really do damage in this series. If that pull up tray ball is not falling, he's gonna have a very, very tough time in this series. So that's a big thing to come in my opinion. We're gonna see how it breaks down. But I think that's something that has to happen because he's also a guy that he usually gets his threes in transition or like off of a screen. He can self-create it, but he's not a big he doesn't do a lot of self-creating threes, right? It's usually self-creating in the mid-range. So we shall see what happens there. But I think that the reason why I'm leaning Cavs, I think that the Cavs have more ways to win the series, and I think the Pistons really have a couple. And those two to me are winning the possession battle with forcing turnovers and getting out and running, and then it's like our physicality. This narrative of our physicality, and it's not just a narrative, there's some truth to it, but our physicality is just going to overwhelm them. We're going to dominate them with Jalen Duren inside, and we're going to be very physical up front to their ball handlers, and that's how we're going to wear them down over the course of the series. Those are their ways. The Cavs, to me, these are the ways the Cavs can win the series. Is the Cavs defense could literally just not shut down. Give Cade Thompson, not Cade Thompson.
Cade Thompson.
Hey, that would be a great player, though. That would be
well. Hey, you know, Cade Thompson is that's LeBron James.
You know what? You know what though? Almost like peak level.
Cade
Almost actually. That's hey, LeBron James, aka
Cade Thompson.
Low key though, peak LeBron was low key.
I'm gonna make that on 2K.
Hey, that need to be a shirt. Cade Thompson, LeBron James.
Cade Thompson, aka LeBron James.
But yeah, like to me, like that's gonna be so. Like this is the ways they could win though. So I think the Cavs could win by they could just have a ridiculously hot 3-point shooting series as a team. Very conceivable because they had a lot of guys outside of Harden. A lot of their other guys did not shoot the three ball as good as they're capable of shooting. So that's something. But they started to pick it up in that game 7, right? So that's something that they could
was making threes.
Yeah, even he was making threes. So that's something that's a potential way. another thing is like to me they could of course they can make it very difficult on Cade, and Cade could just have a really if Cade's not scoring at a high clip, I don't see how the Pistons win the series. I don't think.
I mean,
I
he
don't
gonna
see
have to. He gonna. Cade
yeah.
definitely. He gonna have the volume. I don't see him not.
Yeah, he's gonna have the volume, but but he has to also have like some decent efficiency in this series. If he's if he's having bad really bad shooting nights, I don't know if it's gonna work to win the series. Obviously, they can still win a game here and there, but so that's another way they could win. And then also they could also win by just winning that Duren matchup. If Duren doesn't outplay his matchups, like if he gets outplayed by Jared Allen, they're losing the series, right? If he doesn't at least outplay both, I think he needs to outplay Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, not combined, but like individually. You know? If he doesn't do that, I think they're probably winning the series. And then the other thing, if they just take care of the ball and if they are the regular season team that they were as far as turnovers, then they win the series. If the Pistons, and also another way they could also win it is the Pistons also don't take care of the ball a lot themselves. So as much as the Cavs turn over the ball, the Pistons turn over the ball even more. And so that's a way they could also win the series. I think there's a lot of avenues, but you never know. We got to see things play out. I'm gonna let you go give your prediction.
All right. So after thinking about this series extensively, I got the Cavs in 7. I think Jalen Duren is gonna have a really good series. I think it's gonna be a real kind of like a tough series for Cade, just dealing with the bigs, the overall defensive pressure that's going to come with the lack of offensive help around him. But yeah, I got Cavs in 6 or 7. I think if the series goes 7, I could see Detroit somehow coming out. But I think the Cavs gonna win the series. The major reason though, I think Donovan Mitchell is gonna have a much better series than he did versus Toronto. I mean, I would say K's the better player, but Donovan Mitchell needs to step up to the plate. I think it's no better time in Donovan Mitchell's career. I don't know if he had a better opportunity, even though the Pistons are number 1 seed. You got James Harden. You got a healthy squad. You got Evan Mobley. You got Jared Allen. You got James Harden. You got Shooter. You got Strus. You got Merrill. You got Dennis Schroeder, a guy that can come off the bench, and different like that. This Cavs squad is probably the best squad Donovan Mitchell been on in his career. Maybe.
I think it's not a question. Yeah.
So I think Donovan Mitchell's gonna come to play this series, and
he just won a series. He just won a series where he was not the second best player on his team.
Yeah.
That'll tell you
he was the 4th best player in that series. Maybe.
You could. Yeah. You could. He has an argument for third. But yeah, I probably would say it's between him and Jared Allen for that third spot. And you could make a case that Jared Allen was better when you look at Game 7. But no,
I'm saying in the series he was like
yes. Yeah, you're right.
And he's supposedly supposed to be the best player in the series.
Yeah, going into it.
Yeah, going into it. So
yeah.
So I think Donovan Mitchell's gonna come to play this series. I think he's gonna remind everybody who he is, and I think I got the Cavs. As much as I love Cade and I love the brand of basketball Detroit plays, the analysts to me can't pick the other squad. So I got the Cavs.
Okay, I'm a little surprised.
I got the Cavs.
But
now it's a jinx.
I still don't believe you because I know your ass is trying to pick the jinx.
I picked the Cavs last series, and I called exactly what was going to happen.
You said Cavs in 7. You said Cavs in 7. I mean, you didn't call exactly what was going to happen, but you did say Cavs in 7.
I said you underrating the Raptors defense, and then you end up seeing and I also spoke about Darko Rajakovic. I told you about him. I said I believe in Darko Rajakovic. Now after game 1, I was like, I don't know about that. But
Hey,
I told you about Darko Rajakovic, and now you respect Darko Rajakovic.
I'm
what you saying?
I also if my thing would like show me. No, I said I actually respect I respect Darko's as a coach. I think that he's a better coach than JB Bickerstaff. We gonna see. Ooh. But I think he's a better coach. And the only reason why is because I ain't seen JB ever pull no adjustment like that in the middle of a series, right? He usually just keeps trying a lot of the same things until they start working.
The Rockets.
Yes, I hated him. I hated him when he was the Rocket coach. Bro, when we fired Kevin McHale and we put in JB Bickerstaff as the interim head coach, I was missing Kevin McHale, bro. He was terrible. I actually blame him for us losing a lot of those games because he had this love affair with Corey Brewer. The amount of minutes that he played Corey Brewer and the amount of like games that it cost us, especially in like just terrible rotations, never really making any adjustments to the rotation. When he was killing us and a lot of those, like Corey Brewer was horrible for. Okay, I'm like, we ain't gonna rehash this, all right? because I'm getting PTSD. But yeah, I've never been a JB Bickerstaff guy. I think he's really good at certain things though. Like, you know who he reminds me of? Ime Udoka. He reminds me of Ime Udoka. I would say Udoka's a little bit better, but I would say that he's like very good at getting guys to buy in, motivate guys. A great, like, you know, he's very tough and like will like really get a lot of things out of players, like buy in, extra effort, hustle, intensity, things like that. You know, he's really good at getting guys to like, you know, lock in, execute, do what they're supposed to do type of thing, you know? But like when it comes to, like schematically, this thing is not working. We need to pull this guy off the court. We need to get somebody else out there. Oh, you know what? This guy would be a better matchup. I know you normally play this guy a lot of minutes here, but maybe you should go with this other dude. Like, for a perfect example is I feel like a lot of games, I've watched the Pistons a lot this year because I've been making some takes on them. And so I feel like there's Paul Reed, who's on their bench. That dude barely gets to play. But there's multiple times this season where I feel like Paul Reed would have been a better play than Jalen Duren. I feel like they should have benched Jalen Duren and put in Paul Reed because Paul Reed would have helped them win this game. Straight up. And I don't know what it is.
Paul Reed had some really good games. I remember some games Jalen Duren missed.
Bro, when Paul Reed is when it's out there, he's more skilled than Jalen Duren, right? He's got more skills, and his effort and intensity is consistent. He's always at 100, you know. When it comes to like
Sixers legend, Paul,
B-ball Paul, but yeah, so like that dude to me is somebody that should never have been just back out of the rotation. But there's so many games he just doesn't play at all because I know they played Stewart and they played Duren. But like, there's times when Duren just is not playing well, and he needs to get benched, and like he needs to like, you need to give Paul Reed some minutes because he could help you right now. I honestly think Paul Reed would help them in this series. I'm gonna be dead ass. I hope that he doesn't pull out Paul Reed in this series, and like go with a small. I think here's a perfect example. I think if they had Darko Rajakovic, let's say the Cavs win game 1, and let's say maybe they win game 2. They go up 2-0 or something like that, right? I don't see him pulling. I don't see JB Bickerstaff benching Jalen Duren. And let's say that it happens on the backs.
Wasn't the reason why.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Let's say if it happens on the backs of Jalen Duren's getting picked apart defensively in ball screens, and he can't defend the rim and he can't defend in space, and they're just having their field day with Jalen Duren defensively. I don't see him benching him and pulling out Paul Reed because Paul Reed's more switchable, better at moving his feet. You could play a small ball 5 lineup with Paul Reed out there and it won't be the same as exactly what the Raptors doing because you're still going to have some guys out there potentially that I think that they could go at, but I think it give you a better chance at stymieing some of the things. I think that the Cavs are going to find that they're going to, after the series they just had against the Raptors, they're about to find that things are feeling a lot freer against the Pistons. because there's things that we could pick at. There's clear things that we could be like, and Cade is a solid defender. I think they even will put Cade in some ball screen actions. And the reason why is because you want to wear him out on both ends, right? Because Cade is the head of that snake. And if Cade is not cooking offensively, they are in trouble. And if Cade is having to exert so much of having to run through ball screens and chase Harden and Mitchell on ball screens, that's also gonna impact him potentially on the other end. That's something that, like, I just don't know JB Bickerstaff really having the answers to. And like, I don't think that he doesn't have the ability. I don't think that there aren't the moves that he could make. I just don't think he's gonna make them. Right? I don't think he's gonna make them. Like, I think there's guys you could play. I think you could be like, hey, Ron Holland, go out there. Paul Reed, go out there. We're gonna have Cade, Asar, Tobias, maybe what's his name? Blanking on it. He's a decent 3-point shooter off the bench, good defender.
Put it on Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. Is it? He's a wing.
Javonte Green.
Javonte Green. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Chicago.
Yeah, they could run a small ball lineup with those guys, where you have like a Paul Reed. I mean, this is like a potential. Oh, we got to make a switch curveball. Things aren't working out. You could go like a small ball with either Isaiah Stewart, Paul Reed, Javonte Green, Cade, and Nassar. Now, obviously, the offense is going to be not the greatest there. Yeah, but they're still like Paul Reed's a solid offensive player. Like Paul Reed's actually, I would say he's a good offensive player actually. And then like, maybe you have to Javonte Green, if he got that 3-ball going, that's a problem because he's actually a really good defender. And if he got the 3-ball going, okay. You may want to maybe you swap one of those out and you have Tobias instead because Tobias is decent. He can hold his own, right?
Or maybe because you only mentioned 4 players, so you just throw in Tobias with that group.
Well, no, I thought it was. Oh, I said Cade. No. So Cade, Javonte Green, Asar, Isaiah Stewart, Paul Reed.
Oh, I thought you said or. I thought you said Isaiah or Paul.
Well, yeah, you could go either or. You could go both of them. Like if you want to go try and if you want to go. Yeah, if you want to match their double big and out physical them, because another thing, I think that Tobias is gonna end up guarding Evan Mobley. I think that's an advantage Cavs, but we'll see. And so like, and then another thing, I think the matchups are gonna be this. This is my prediction. We're gonna see. I don't know what your predictions are gonna be, but I think that they're gonna go Asar and Harden at the 1. They're gonna have him guard the 1. Then I think they're gonna have Duncan Robinson guard Dean Wade. Right? Mm-hmm. Then I think they're gonna have Klay Thompson. I said Klay Thompson.
Here you go. Go again with the Klay Thompson.
Right. I'm dead. I think they're gonna have This
man created
I'm dead. Right. See, that just shows you how important that just shows you how important those 2 players are to the Pistons. Because that
Klay Thompson,
but yeah, so I think they're gonna have Cade. Right there, I think they're gonna have Cade guard Mitchell. I don't think they're gonna have Cade guard Mitchell, and
they might guard each other.
Yeah, they might guard each other.
Nah,
and so
I don't think that'd be smart by Cleveland.
Yeah, you're right. No, we already know 100% that Donovan Mitchell's gonna be guarding Duncan Robinson to me.
Oh yeah,
I think Donovan Mitchell's guarding Duncan Robinson, and it just makes too much sense. And then here's the thing: James Harden is going to be guarding Tobias Harris. I think that he could hold up. I think that's a matchup.
James Harden post defense.
That is a matchup made for James Harden right there. He got hold up Tobias. I remember you. All right, I know your whole game. You just gonna mid post up and try and do turnarounds on me. Guess what? That's what I'm built for. I'm built for the mid post turnaround from Tobias. So I think that Harden is going to guard Tobias, and I think that he's going to welcome that, and he can hold up in that matchup. Then I think that's another thing. I just think that when you're looking at the offensive versus defensive matches and mismatches potentially, I think that's advantage Cavs. Because if you have Duncan Robinson, if you have being guarded by obviously Donovan Mitchell does have a habit of falling asleep off ball. So that's something that Duncan Robinson could potentially, he had to be locked in and not just leaving Duncan Robinson wide open. But like he could save a lot of energy on that side of the ball. He has no excuse to not go in on offense and score like efficiently and a lot this series, unless like they just switch and have a Sarr and them locking him up the whole series. He has a big advantage there because Cade is going to have to work both ends. I don't see Cade not having to work both ends this series.
Yeah,
I don't think Cade
was guarding Paulo Banchero a lot.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But I'm not saying he.
You're right. But like that's a matchup that I think that obviously Banchero is still a good player, but I think that that's something that I think Cade would much rather guard Paulo Banchero and have to chase Donovan Mitchell's ass and have to chase. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is not as big, but he's so much faster, and he's a much better shooter, and got a much better handle, and so like he's probably gonna I will see. I think he's gonna have more trouble with Mitchell than he had with Banchero.
Yeah, but I was just saying I don't think that'll be it's not. I'm not saying it wouldn't be an issue for Cade. It wouldn't be like something he wouldn't step up to the challenge for. I think.
No. I think he's gonna be. He's definitely. I don't think he's not gonna try or something. Or I think he's gonna have a tougher time. Is what my argument is, because I think that they're gonna put him in a lot of ball screens too. I think he's gonna be in a lot of ball screen actions as well, and having to chase and go around screens. And on the other end, he's got to navigate what I don't think is going to be I think it's going to be a tougher defense for him to navigate than the Magic was. Not that obviously the Magic were technically the higher ranked defense, but they are not an easier defense for Cade because of that backline rim protection behind those wings. And so I think it's this right here is a huge test for him. And honestly, it's another like. This is a Donovan Mitchell, like your legacy on the line right here. Like your legacy on the line, because bro, like the East is so open. Like they said it was wide open going into the playoffs, bro. It is butt naked. So if you don't come out there and play like to your capabilities, because the matchups are going to be in your favor. Their best defender is likely not going to be guarding you. If their best defender is likely not guarding you, you need to be cooking. Because
what they goals are on. Who do you think it's easier for Cade to guard, Harden or Mitchell?
I think Harden is probably easier for him to guard.
So why don't they just go Cade on Harden than Ausar on Donovan Mitchell?
Well, it depends on what we mean. So I think the Harden is easier for him to guard in isolation. But I think that the problem with doing that is you're not just worried when you're the purpose of having Ausar on Harden is not just to guard Harden isos. It's because of what Harden does. It's because of what Harden does for the whole team. So we're talking about who's. I think Cade's would have an easier time guarding Harden 1-on-1, but he'd have a harder time guarding Harden ball screen actions and pick and roll and having to navigate around the screens. That right there to me is why you have to have Ausar on Harden to me. Is because I think Harden would much rather have Cade Thompson guarding and ball screen.
Here you go with the Cade Thompson. Bro. This dude, Andrew.
All right, we just gonna call this video. We just gonna call this whole clip Cade Thompson. All right. This is Cade Thompson versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hey, what if he come out here playing like a combination of both? Oh yeah, man, that's the best player in the league, man.
Oh, bro. Hey, if Cade Cunningham becomes Cade Thompson. Cavs, just pack it up. Pack it up, Cavs. Pack it up.
You foreshadowing, Andrew. You foreshadowing.
But no, like unless.
All right, but so I know we spoke about this series for
we gotta put that in the bed. Oh, because we don't got too much time. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Knicks Sixers.
Knicks Sixers. I'm gonna start with that one. I got Knicks in 6. I had Knicks in 6 before the series. I think this is like the best Knicks team in a while. I think they've been they looking like I was talking to a friend yesterday. He was like they looking like the team who everybody thought should have been like the favorites going into this year, and it's all clicking. Jalen Brunson was hooping toward the end of the Hawks series. He carried over to game 1 yesterday when they demolished the Sixers. OG been playing out his mind. Mikal starting to play better. Everything clicking. I mean, like the only thing ain't really working for them recently is Mitchell Robinson free throws. But once it gets under 2 minutes in the quarter, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Do that. Well, you can do it, but it's gonna be a tick. So
yeah,
it works for them. And shout out to Knicks.
They steamrolled the Sixers.
Yeah, I told my brother on Sunday because he was asking me about like he was trying to do like a prize picks, and he was like asking me what I think about Tyrese Maxey. I was like, I don't know. I feel like the Knicks gonna win game 1 convincingly. I mean, they well rested and they got some defenders for Tyrese Maxey. They got Mikal Bridges, they got OG Anunoby, they got Deuce McBride, you got Josh Hart. They got some real defenders for Tyrese Maxey. I don't know if he's gonna hit that prop. And then everything I said, came to pass. I'm a prophet. And then the Knicks.
I don't think that. Yeah. I don't think obviously like a game is a game. I'm gonna be clear. I had Sixers in 6, but I had a caveat. I was like, Embiid's body can hold up.
Andrew, that's his career caveat.
Yeah. Yes. but it's not even just like literally like is he going to be available for the games? Like I can see because I was watching that Sixers Celtics series, even though he was able to function.
Yeah.
He was gimping up and down the court.
Yeah, he was barely able when he got hit. Yeah. He was crawling on the floor
and so like my big thing going into series, I was like, I got to see how he's able to really hold up. And defensively, it was disgusting.
Oh yeah,
and obviously he's hurt. He's not fully healthy. This is the worst I've seen him move defensively. And the Celtics didn't really take advantage of this. And part of it is because they don't have a Jalen Brunson and they don't have the same guards. They lost so like I do think that's going to be a big problem for them. Is how is Joel Embiid going to guard in space? How is he going to guard on the perimeter when he has to show on these ball screens? They just abused him in ball screens that whole game. It was nasty.
Ridiculous.
So like a part of it, I do think like they just came back from down 3-1. They going into game 1. They just had one day off. Had to play with a lot of intensity. I do think that some of it was they probably were tired and didn't have their legs because you literally were playing in game 7 for the past 3 games, and Joel Embiid is obviously still not fully healthy. We'll see how they respond game 2. I want to see how they look. If they look better, if they're able to play well in game 2, I still do. I don't know if I'm not as confident on my pick at all, but I wasn't confident to begin with, to be honest. I still don't have much confidence in Embiid's body being able to hold up. But I said 6 and 6, so I want to see. I'm still gonna. I want to see how game 2 goes before I might just be like completely just concede that pick. But yeah, so we shall see. But yeah, that was a decimation, and I think that was some part of it was them having to come back from down 3-1, have to have all that. Like it takes a lot of a team to me.
It's crazy. Like the Lakers played Friday, and they just now playing on Tuesday. So they had, of course, you get the day off, at least one day off between playoff games. They didn't play Sunday.
Say 4 days rest.
They didn't play Monday. Now they're playing today. The Sixers played Saturday, then had to go play like 2 days later. So
they had one day off.
That was like. You got a day off, but that's kind of like, especially against a team that has some rest. That's kind of like a scheduled playoff loss.
The Knicks had like 5 days off, I think, right?
Yeah,
and they had 1 day off.
Yeah.
So I don't think that like that's why they lost the game exactly, but I do think that's why that's why they got stomped.
Yeah,
and so they're still gonna be the same problems with the ball screens, but I think that offensively they have guys that can play better, and also like there are other guys like they have like VJ Edgecombe and like Paul George, Maxey. Those guys can play better. They will play better. We'll see how they hold up defensively with Joel. But yeah, so that's gonna be interesting seeing if the Knicks can just run through them. That's gonna be crazy. But going as far as the other games, the only other one that happened was the Spurs and the Timberwolves, and that was a surprise. A little bit. I won't say I was shocked. I was more surprised that Anthony Edwards even played that game. I was.
Yeah, man. I got the notification. I was like, what's going on?
I was like, what? This man. You saw like the reports, like he was like doing everything he could to be able to play this game. Like he was doing some kind of like
he was like it was
some
like
hyperbaric
shooting around.
Man was in the hyperbolic time chamber or something.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. At that, because he got hurt with game 4 of that series.
Yeah, game 4.
Yeah, like first half, game 4. So he missed. I mean, he had what was that game? Oh, I remember that game 4. That was not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that. That was right after the Rockets game. Right after the Rockets game that we went to.
Yeah, and if you watch that game, because he still is clearly like
he's not himself.
He might be like 60% himself, maybe 70. Yeah. I'll maybe say 60 to 70%.
He on like 2 bad legs.
Yeah, the way he's moving so slow. I mean, for him, he's moving so slow. Defensively, low key, the Spurs should actually just try and hunt his ass defensively. I'm surprised they don't really, really go at him because he does not look right on defense. Like he's really just jogging and kind of just walking a lot. He's not really like he don't really want to put too much. He don't want to play with force on defense. If you watch him out there, he's really just trying to play offense, and then he's trying to like rest on D. And that game, like I don't know if you saw that last play, the last like late in the game. Go watch Ant that last play of the game, bro. Ant was basically just like trying like
oh yeah. He was kind of like jogging back. That's and the Spurs almost gamed him with them.
It was like he was just ready for the game to be over. Like he was just trying to like he's like damn.
Yeah.
So I think that's a problem. I mean, obviously he still helped them because he made some shots and he scored, and so like that's kudos. I'm always going to show like respect to players that are playing through injury and trying to find ways to help their team. Because you never know what could happen. He could actually come out and really, really get seriously hurt. So it might not be the smartest thing, but I guess he's trying to find a way to help by not overextending himself too much. So he's trying to play conservatively, and it worked. They stole the game. Rudy Gobert had another really good game. They didn't make a lot of that run without him, but he still has some good moments defending the rim. Julius Randle continuing to change the narrative for his career because he's becoming now a playoff performer after being like a complete like seller in the playoffs for most of his career.
Baby Laker, by
the way. Like he had some good defensive moments on Wemby, and Wemby this is one thing I will say, and I'm like he did have an amazing defensive game, but like, bro, like nobody really talked about how bad he was offensively. They kind of just gave him a complete mulligan. And I know he played great defense, but like he was settling way too much in that game. Obviously, he's not going to shoot that bad again, you would think, but he needs to be more aggressive, like, playing in the paint and not just like taking off. He took like 8 or 9 threes.
Yeah.
And
break it.
Yeah, so like that's one thing. And also he did get away with some goaltends. Let's be honest.
Yeah, a couple of those, yeah.
I want to say like four of them were not blocks. 4 of them things, he had like 8. He had 8. But he got away with like 2 goaltends and like 2 straight. He just fouled Rudy Gobert. But like
he had a playoff record, 12 blocks. Like that game yesterday was like that's because I love AD. I used to say like, bro, it's impossible for AD to have a bad game. Like I used to say that, and because the narrative around AD, and it was kind of true. Like he was inconsistent. Like I guess like with his offensive production or like aggression, but AD's like calling card ever since when he came out of college was his defense. So even if he's having like a inefficient shooting night or like a not a good shooting night, he's affecting the game so much defensively. Like you can't just say, "Yo, oh, he had a bad game." Wembanyama, yeah, he had a bad shooting game. He was nasty shooting all these threes, too many jump
He
shots.
didn't have a bad game.
11 points.
No.
The dude had 12 freaking blocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them may have been goaltends. That was the most blocks in a playoff game ever. He had a triple double with freaking blocks.
Yeah, I'm not saying he had a bad game by no
means.
means.
Yeah, I know. I was just, just saying like he's one of the best defensive peaks of all time already. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. But for this series,
what did you have? Yeah.
I got Spurs in 7. I was actually like, because I was thinking when I saw like Minnesota, even without Ant, I had Spurs in 6. But with Ant, I got Spurs in 7. But I was like, well, Minnesota's a tough squad. Like, yeah, they missing their best player. Missing DiVincenzo. Ayo may come back sometime in this series too, so you got to watch out for that. But they such a tough squad. Like, I felt like Gobert is one of the best defenders of all time. And this is a good matchup for Wembanyama. I mean, somebody who knows Wemby, somebody who not like maybe watch him grow up, like kind of like in France.
He was quote unquote his mentors. Have you watched a lot of his old videos when he was like 17, 18? He was training with Gobert.
So somebody who knows him. Spurs still a young squad, but I just think like eventually Wembanyama he's gonna have a great impact on the game. Not solely with his defense, but with his offensive production. I think eventually one of these games, Fox gonna have one of those games games that make him look like he's a star point guard, which wasn't yesterday. But I think that's a big talking point with the Spurs. Like I saw a tweet that said that Fox extensions saved the NBA because Spurs could have got anybody else, and because I feel like Dylan Harper, man, I love Dylan Harper's game. Like he reminds me a little bit of Cade Cunningham, but I don't know if he's quite ready for that starting point guard on a championship team role. But he definitely has the talent to get there.
Oh, absolutely. He has future star potential, 100%.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you see him play, I mean, if anybody go watch that game 3 versus the Trailblazers. This dude was unstoppable. He was looking unstoppable. That's what peak Dylan Harper gonna look like. I mean, he get after defensively, has a strong handle, can play make, get to the basket. Jump shot can he has a smooth jump shot. It needs to improve, but he gonna I feel like he gonna become a solid shooter, good enough shooter. So yeah, eventually Dylan Harper gonna take those reins as the lead guard in San Antonio, and they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But I think I'm rolling with the Spurs. I think they're gonna squeeze it out in 7. I think it's gonna be a close series. I'm glad AE is able to play. I'm kind of nervous for him. Somebody said he took the D Wade route. They was talking about like playing on I guess like his messed up knees and stuff like that. Because D Wade's career was low-key kind of like cut short because of his nagging knee injuries.
Yeah, I really hope. I'm honestly hoping that he does not that nothing like seriously happens, because right now it's very, very risky. This could change the whole course of his career.
Yeah, it could change the trajectory of his career.
I can see it it's if this series, if they get down in this series, I would just shut it down.
Yeah,
like if they go down 3-1, so shut it down. Shut it down, bro.
Because it's not working. And like I get it, because I'm low-key kind of rooting for Minnesota, because even though they beat the Lakers last year in the playoffs, they've been knocking on the door consistently. Like I spoke about it last pod, conference finals last year, conference finals the year before that. This year, already won game one in the second round, and they dealing with all these injuries. They knocking on the door. They knocking on the door. They knocking on the door. I think San Antonio would have a really good shot at OKC. I think Minnesota will still have a decent shot. At least fully healthy, or if Edwards is healthy. But yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate they're dealing with the injuries, but you still got to continue to look. I know it's hard because you right here. This is the moment. You don't want to take it for granted. You in the playoffs right now, and I know that's what Edwards thinking. But whoever the coach and the GM, like you said, they get down in this series, like down bad, or let's say even if they go up 3-1, rest them for game 5. I don't know, but yeah, you got to this. Anthony Edwards is your franchise. He is the franchise centerpiece.
I hear you on that, but you know it's gonna be impossible for them to stop him from playing game 5. They up 3-1. There ain't no way he ain't gonna play
game 5 being San Antonio. Let Anthony Edwards. And then go home to Atlanta. He can go to Magic City. He can go relax, kick his eggs up.
he definitely gonna play that though. No matter it's a tough situation. They got to be really really careful with it, because that could really change. Like right now, he is like the future potential face of the league. Like he's one of those guys, the future potential face of the league. Obviously Wemby, but like for like American players, which is usually a lot of the European players don't end up becoming the face of the league. So he is like one of them dudes that could be. So we'll see. As far as like my prediction, I did have the Spurs winning in 5, but I thought Ant was out entirely. Now I probably got Spurs in 6. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the series. But yeah, that's my main concern. Because I really just don't want this dude to like have like a career-altering injury, and he ain't even at his peak yet. He literally not even at his peak yet. So
agreed.
But yeah,
agreed. So wait, who's you picking this series? You picked San Antonio. Right?
I had Spurs in 5, but then I thought Ant was out, so I had him 5. Now the Ant's playing, I got Spurs in 6.
Okay. But I got Spurs. But yeah,
so
y'all kind of. Oh, you picked Philly, but you say you're not confident.
Yeah, I had Philly, but I said Philly in 6, but it was all depending on if Embiid's body can hold up. And right now, I ain't confident. This right now, Pistons and Cavs about to tip off. I'm looking at it right now.
About to turn it on.
They literally about to tip off right now. In like 10 seconds.
Oh, so I'm gonna miss the tip. Pause.
3,
That's crazy.
2, 1, tip off.
Who won it?
D-Mitch with the ball. All right. D-Mitch taking it. Who's guarding him at the start of the game? Asar's on D-Mitch. They playing Asar on D-Mitch. Cade on Harden.
What I say? Well, what I predict? Matter of fact, I changed my pick. Pistons in 6.
They changed. Oh, no. That right there. Okay, wide open. Mobley take him off the dribble to the paint. Miss. Offensive rebound. Put back. To me, I still think that's a bad decision. Now we shall see how it plays out.
What's the game on ESPN or?
That's on the Peacock crap.
Peacock crap.
Freaking Peacock. I actually.
We got to get to the main event. The series, the most. The most competitive of all the series.
Yeah, Thunder in 3.
So my
OKC in 3. OKC 1, 2, 3.
So the fan in me is saying Lakers in 7. The analyst in me is saying
because you saying Luka. You saying Luka gonna come back? That's what you saying. Luka gonna come back in game 3 or something. Right?
Go sweet. So good shot, Donovan Mitchell. So but I'm rolling with OKC in 5. I think the Lakers gonna get a game. They got to get a game. And that's just like the fan in me speaking. Now, also Harden is guarding Tobias. So avenues, I think, for the Lakers to at least kind of pull off an upset, kind of, if it's any possibility. They have to limit the turnovers. You turn the ball over versus this team, they will blow you out. They will destroy you. Limit the turnovers. limit the others. Give yourself a shot. SGA gonna get his. We'll put Marcus Smart on him. He gonna try to get to the line. Limit the turnovers. Limit the others. It's a clutch game. You got Austin Reeves and LeBron versus SGA in the clutch, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then if the series gets, if you get deep in the terrible pass, James Harden. If it gets deep in the series, Luka comes back. What KG say? Anything is possible. With that said, I got OKC in 5. I don't think it'll be much of anything. So would you say a sweep?
Nah, I was trolling with that, but I do think I got OKC in 5 as well. I'm gonna give the Lakers one game because Rui Hachimura has been a playoff 3-point demon, so I'm gonna give them they go back to LA down 0-2. They're gonna have one of those 3-point blitz type games where I think that maybe Kennard gonna show back up. Yeah. Rui Hachimura gonna be hitting his threes, and then maybe LeBron will get it going, and then Reeves might have a big game. I'm leaning towards it being like a gentleman's sweep. I think that the Lakers will get one. Now, if Luka does come back, and if he comes back soon and he's decent, maybe OKC in 6. Maybe. Depending on what time he comes back in the series and how he's looking. Like he got to be back by
Also remember, OKC is playing without their second best player.
Yeah, that's true, but I still feel like they're
pull up 3 by Cade. Oh, I'm probably ahead of you.
Nah, you behind me.
Oh, you already saw the 3?
It's 9:05 on the clock.
Oh no. Nah, yeah, you ahead of me.
Yeah.
Oh, that was tough.
I will say this: JB did do one adjustment before the playoff series that he didn't do in the regular season. That was literally swapping Cade with Asar. But I
thought about that while we was talking.
I don't think that's a good decision though. We'll see though. I think that they're going to be able to get in their pick. I think they're going to be able to get into the pick and roll.
I would say the threat of that Harden, his own scoring plus the creation for others is there, but it's not there like it was in his past. So maybe he trusting Cade to at least neutralize it to a degree. If this is prime Harden, then
I disagree because I still think that's the part of his game that's still elite.
It's elite. It's just not.
I think if anything, I want Harden to be more of a scorer than a passer. Okay. All right, let's lock in and get to this game.
All right, well, nice stream. Okay, Donovan Mitchell missed it. Okay, nice stream, nice episode. Thanks for all that pulled up. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're about to tune into this K Masterclass. All right, Drew, you got any final words before we end the stream?
I swear, D Mitch, if you miss one more 3-pointer, I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna come find Donovan Mitchell. He missed one more wide open 3. That's where we end. That's where we end the stream. All right, y'all.
All right.